Welcome to My Zone Online School. My name is Teacher Precious and I'm with my friend here. Say hi. The theme for this week is public transport. But before we begin, let us sanitize our hands. Let's rub side out. Then we spread out our hands so that we don't touch the person next to you. And we do it in front as well. You must remember to social distance, and when you are going out, always wear your mask. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about capital letters, punctuation, plural nouns, and grammar. Let's now turn to page 21, where we are going to talk about capital letters and full stops. A full stop, then capital letters. Okay, these are our capital letters. And we are given sentences here which are muddled up, which means the words are not in order. So we want to start by looking at the first sentence. And because we are doing capital letters and full stops, you must remember to start a sentence with a capital letter, and at the end of each given sentence, you must always put a full stop. Okay. We have words butterfly, there, set, flower, there, and on. We are going to use these words to come up with a sentence. And in this case, our sentence will be the butterfly sat on the flower. Then we put a full stop. And we started our sentence with a capital letter. I can also do the second one with you. We have words like used, then rain, my umbrella, there, I, and in. Okay. So here we'll come up with a sentence. I used my umbrella in the rain. And remember to put a full stop. And every time you are writing I, you must write a capital letter, even if it's in the middle of the sentence. We don't write a small letter I in the middle of the sentence. Now, grade 2s, I want you to do number 3, number 4, number 5 from the booklet on your own. That's all about capital letters and full stops. Thank you. Let's now move on to page 22, where we are going to talk about plural nouns. When we say plural nouns, it means more than one, as it is written in your booklet, making more than one. So there will be two, there can be three, okay. In some plural nouns, we add S, okay? Just add S to make the noun plural. For example, we have a bat. So we say bats. However, we have some nouns where we cannot just add S. Like if a word ends with S, like here you add ES. Some plural nouns you must add ES. Let's give an example. We have bus. What is the plural for bus? You put buses. Okay? Then we go to some nouns where you must add IES. Add IES. Especially to those nouns ending with Y. I'm going to give one example. We have berry. Okay? This is berry. What do we do here? We write berries. Okay. So I want you to go through the words given or the nouns given and change them to plural nouns. So you do from number 1 up to 10. Grade 3s. And now let's move on to page 23, where we are given sentences and we must choose or we must identify plural nouns. Grade 3s. Let's do number 1. We are told to draw a box around each plural noun that you can see from a given sentence. Okay? Let me rub here. Okay. Let's do number 1. Hair pencils. I want you to correct in your booklet. You can also correct yours. Good. Correct it. Write pencils there. Hair pencils. So it's supposed to be hair pencils were or missing. Okay. In this case, pencils is our plural noun, so we draw a box like this. Okay. Now we move on to another one. We have number 2 here, the boy. The boy jumped. Across the rock. The rocks. Okay. So in this case, the word or the noun in plural is rocks. So you put a box like that. So I want you to check all the plural nouns and put boxes in your booklet. That's all about plural nouns, grade 3s. Thank you. Let's now turn to page 24, where we are going to form words using phonics. And I have phonic words here. This is J. I also have V. Then W. And P. This is P. Then N. Okay. So we want to replace the beginning sound to form a new word. As you can see, I have different pictures here. So we want to form words by replacing the beginning sound with one of these letters. Okay. We have this. What is it? It's a pet. So we come and check here. Do we have P for pet? Yes. We put, then it will be a pet. And we also have this picture. What can you see? Don't confuse and say we have a pet and a pet. No. This is a vet, a person who takes care of animals. So we check, how do we write vet? We know how to write vet. We go and check here at the letters, then we take V to make it a vet, the word vet. So this is what I want you to do. Identify the pictures from your booklet. They are in your booklet. You identify them and finish the remaining 3. Form a new word by replacing these letters at the beginning of one of these words. You check, where does N fit? You come here or here or here. You just choose where you can come up with a word which goes together with the picture given. That's all about phonics, grade 2s. Thank you. Let's now turn to page 25, where we are going to talk about much or more. Where do we use much? Where do we use more? Okay. We use much when we are talking about uncountable nouns. And where do we use more? You use more when you are talking about things that you can count. Those are countable nouns. Okay. I have examples given. At number 1, there's a question. How dash books did you buy? From our booklet, go to number 1. It's written, how dash books did you buy? We can count books. So we say, how many books did you buy? And this is a sentence, but it's a question. So at the end of the sentence, you put a question mark. Okay? Let's do number 2 together. How dash water is there? Can you count water? No. So you write, How much water is there? It's also a question. So we put a question mark at the end of the sentence. Now I want you to do number 3 up to 10 on your own from our booklet. That's all about much or more. Thank you so much for the lesson. Now it's time to sanitize once again. Let's spray our hands. Let's rub. Side, inside. And let's spread out our hands so that we don't touch the person next to us, and we do it in front as well. Okay. Remember to social distance, and every time you are going out, remember to wear your mask. Before we say goodbye, let's say bye to our friend Zoshi.
What is social distancing? Hi everyone, I am Zoshi, and I'm back. It literally just means that you need to stay home all the time and keep away from crowded places. And remember to keep your distance from your friends too. Everybody stay safe. Yay! Till next time. Bye!
Many countries that have passed their first peak of COVID-19 are experiencing a second rise in cases. Is this a second wave of infections, and could even more waves lie ahead? Previous pandemics might give us a clue. The 1918 Spanish flu was the most deadly pandemic in modern history. It killed at least 50 million people. Its second wave was the most deadly by far, killing millions more than the first and third. More recent outbreaks, such as SARS and swine flu, have also had 2 or more waves, so it looks like the COVID-19 pandemic could have several too. The World Health Organization has warned about the dangers of a deadly resurgence. Many countries and places have seen infections accelerate after bringing their first waves under control. These rises aren't necessarily new waves. They could be spikes. Spikes are rapid rises in cases that aren't sustained, whereas waves happen over longer periods and often contain several spikes or peaks. Second waves only take place after a first wave has retreated. Many scientists believe more waves are inevitable and think a worse one could hit during autumn or winter. Some other coronaviruses spread faster when the weather is cold. If this is the case with COVID-19, it would put health systems under huge pressure. Many people are still vulnerable, and immunity to the virus might only last a few months for those who recover. It's also possible that mutations to the virus could lead to new waves. Hundreds of mutations have been found, and some could potentially make the pandemic more severe. One mutation may have already improved the ability of the virus to bind its spike proteins to human cells. This strain of the virus appears to unlock cells more easily and has become dominant around the world. It's unknown how the virus will continue to change, but further mutations could make it even more dangerous and harder to control. A reliable vaccine would help solve many of these problems, but it may take many months or even years to find one. Until then, we all need to make long-term lifestyle changes to protect ourselves from further waves. How are you learning to live in a world with COVID-19?
Beautiful souls, this is Nikita Winkler and I'm here to share easy tools for stretching that you can do just about anywhere. In this session, we will be doing seated chair stretches. Remember that this is a demonstration video, so take your time. These stretches are really beneficial because we spend so much time sitting with bad posture. So let's get started. First, bring yourself to the edge of your chair, ideally not a high chair or one with wheels. Okay, we want to make sure that the hips are aligned with the knees and the ankles and that your spine is upright. Take a nice inhale, open up the chest, exhale, release back. Inhale, open up the chest, exhale, release back, just to create mobility in your spine. And now we're going to go for a spinal twist. Inhale, twist, one arm goes by the opposite knee. And exhale, you can rest your arm on the backrest, or if you don't have one, just behind you. Come back. Inhale, exhale, twist. Do a couple more as you please. From here, we're going to lean forward to stretch the entire back and spinal vertebrae. You can use a pillow right here to make it more comfortable. If you wish, you can add some tapping on the neck. Come back up. If you do some tapping, make sure you give enough pressure. When we come up, we bring the right leg up, cross it over the left knee, and rotate your ankle. One direction and the other. Inhale, press on the knee, exhale, release. Pressure into the knee to open up the hip. If you want to go deeper, lean forward. Come back up. Cross left over right. Ankle rotation. One direction and then the other. Inhale on the knee. Exhale. Press the hip open. And if you lean forward, notice how you move into different parts of the body. Lower back, glutes, and around the hips. Come back up. And that's it for today's seated stretching. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to breathe and happy stretching.
Humanitarian crises are all too familiar to television viewers. Civil wars that cause huge movements of refugees, worldwide pandemics, and natural disasters like earthquakes and tsunamis. This is the way most of us are used to seeing these heart-wrenching events, on a screen in front of us, watching passively. But what if you could step into the frame and actually feel what it's like for the individuals on the ground?
People come out of it feeling enlightened and often moved and often ready to take action. A lot of people automatically say, well, what can I do? How can I get involved?
Garbo Aurora is leading a team at the United Nations who are using cutting-edge technology to raise awareness, empathy and funds, both to respond to humanitarian crises and to bolster support for a new set of sustainable development goals around the globe.
Virtual reality is the ability to really take part in a story that usually you're only a passive spectator on. And you actually get the sensation of feeling like you're being there.
By using multiple cameras that can record in all directions and software that can stitch the images together, virtual reality creates an experience that enables the viewer to see a movie from every angle, above, below, and behind.
It's exciting for the UN, to be involved in some of those early experiments of how we're trying to tell stories, make these films, and work with some of the most cutting-edge people in the industry on it.
So the UN reached out to us and connected, and we realized that there was a great opportunity here to tell some very important stories and to tell them in a way that we thought would be totally new and highly impactful. The way that I define virtual reality at this point in time is basically the hacking of your senses to convince you that you're somewhere other than where you are. Often, I think of it as a sense of vulnerability. So one of the things we've realized in some of our stories is you have a heightened sense of empathy and a heightened sense of connection as a result of that vulnerability.
That heightened sense of connection and empathy was exactly what Garbo Aurora was looking to create at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Not only to inspire leaders to take action, but also to influence donors to increase funding for disaster response efforts.
I'd started experimenting with using innovative ways of advocacy, and I started talking to a lot of different partners and people. What could we do that would be incredible? And someone said, I just came from a meeting at Samsung, and, with some of these other virtual reality headsets, wouldn't it be amazing if you got all of those elite people who could actually go to a refugee camp, or they could go to an Ebola clinic? I just really felt it would get our issues highlighted.
In addition to the screenings at Davos, virtual reality portals have been set up to view the films at high-level political forums around the world. The virtual reality film on display was Clouds Over Sidra.
Clouds Over Sidra is a short film in virtual reality about a girl named Sidra who lives in Zaatari camp, which is a Syrian refugee camp in Jordan. And it is a story about a young girl who is giving you a tour of the camp, of what it's like, what her life is like. When the film debuted in Davos, it was a sensation to everyone we showed it to. They come out of it very deeply moved. I'd say half the people who watch Clouds Over Sidra cry. And then we cut a version for UNICEF, where it's face-to-face fundraisers. The way they do that is usually someone with a clipboard on the street in Europe or in different countries. So they thought, well, what if we got people to experience virtual reality on the street?
Quite sad. They don't have a good environment to stay. We try our best to help them.
Early reporting from UNICEF has shown that when using virtual reality, they've doubled the effectiveness of their fundraising efforts. This report was produced by Ben Lybrand for the United Nations.